All right, good morning here, 8:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, July the 16th, 2022. Over in Australia right now, where my colleague Big J is located. It's close to 11 p.m. Somebody asked in the comments a couple of days ago, what time do we usually do our videos? It's usually about, give or take, about 45 minutes to an hour or so before this. But we haven't done this in a while, and what we're going to do today is a full-fledged Australian boxing breakdown from all of the mainstream major fighters in the Australia and what they're going to be doing over the next several months. So first, take your time out. It really helps us out if you like the video. The numbers are up on the channel, as I've said before, and eventually I'm going to have to stop mentioning it. But we've been dealing with a shadow ban. And basically what that means is YouTube puts you on a probationary period for some content that they've requested or manually taken down for you. And to get out of that probationary period, you have to produce a lot of content and just, basically operate in good faith. So therefore, they don't have to take anything down again. So anyway, moving on, we're going to start off with, we got several topics here. Just briefly, I'll explain. We're going to be talking about Liam Paro versus Brock Jarvis. What's going on with Ebony Bridges? Susie Q Ramadan is returning. Mick Zarafa versus Squiva Falco. Nikita Zoo versus Tim Zoo's brother versus Ben Horn, Jeff Horn's brother. The Maloney twins, what are they doing? And Lucas Brown, Sonny Bill Williams, Justice Hooney, and Paul Gallen, or Sonny Bill Williams versus Paul Gallen. And what's possibly next for Justice Hooney. So we're going to start off with a fight that had a press conference a couple of months ago between two 135 pounders. Wait a minute. What division is this again? Big J, Liam Paro. It's 140. Yeah, I remember that. 140. Okay, and that was a big talking point. Okay, so you're going to have Liam Paro, WBO ranked number 140 pounder, taking on Brock Jarvis, who, if you look at his resume here, and we brought this up, 20-0 with 18 KOs, 24 years old, but just less than 2 years ago, in December of 2020, he weighed in at 126 pounds. A year before that, 122 pounds. Even just 4 years ago, he was 118 pounds, and here he is now competing at 140 pounds against 22-0, 13 KOs, 26 years old, Liam Paro, who, from what I'm looking at on his box rec, has fought as high as 147. Actually, he's fought as high as 154. Super welterweight, because we can see right here he fought back in 2018 against someone who weighed at 152, and the highest he's weighed himself is 146 and 3/4 according to BoxRec. So right there, that's already pretty outrageous right there. And I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Liam Paro. But the fight is supposed to be taking place in September. Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing put something on their social media page about 14 hours ago, my time, where it says Liam Paro and Brock Jarvis working away in camp, fight date soon. And you have an image here of both fighters working away in camp. Now, let's talk about the bizarreness and some of the red flags with that press conference that happened, Big J, that you've seen to notice. So what are your thoughts on that? And if the fight's going to happen, and when do you think, and where do you think it's going to happen?
I think they're probably aiming for Brisbane. I think that's probably where I think they did mention that, or Brisbane or Gold Coast, somewhere in Southeast Queensland region, which is where the press conference was in the first place. It was in Fortitude Valley, which is a suburb of Brisbane. I'm pretty sure they're going to do it around that area. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of these two blokes fighting, even though it's going to be it's going to be a good fight. But I'm not a fan of these. I'm not a fan of these two blokes fighting because they're practically all family. I mean, I think they said that one of the trainers is godfather of one of the other guys, and Jeff Fannick's a godfather of somebody, and they all know each other, and they're all they're all practically related in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, I don't like it because of that. I think Eddie's putting a rift between two blokes who don't need to fight because Brock Jarvis has never fought at 140. He doesn't. Yeah, there's no need for these two blokes to fight at this stage.
Okay, so you think
Liam Paro really? Well, I mean, Liam Paro is not going to gain anything. He's got everything to lose, nothing to gain at this fight because if he beats Brock, it's like, okay, well, he beat a kid that's, a blown up one featherweight or super bantamweight, whichever way you want to look at it, because he's over the last 2 years he's moved way up the weight. But then again, he has to. He's 5'10". He's not small. 5'10", he could go as high as what?
Yeah,
light heavy if you wanted to.
Yeah, 5'10" can take you to at least light heavy these days.
Exactly. So, I mean, he's a very tall, fighter for his weight. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of these two blokes fighting. Well, I'm going to be a fan of the fight because it'll be an entertaining bout. But as I said, Liam's got everything to lose, nothing to gain. Brock's got everything to gain, nothing to lose. So, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it will be a good, entertaining fight. But I said I think I've got to give the tip. I've got to give it based on experience to Liam because he's 95% of his career has been at 140. Where this was Brock's first fight at 140, and his last fight against the Mexican fella wasn't really that impressive. My question is, how can Brock actually handle the power of a 140? Because he almost got knocked out by lightweight.
Yeah, he did.
So he might be able to dish out the punches, but he doesn't look like he can handle them too well. So that's another thing. How's his punch resistance? So I don't think a lot of people forget about that. Is they want to fight and moves up. Yeah, can their power go with the weight, but also can their punch resistance go with the weight? Because they got guys who are, who are heavier hitting them.
And you saw that, as you said, he almost got, knocked out by Alejandro Farias Rodriguez. That was back in October of last year, 2021. Yeah,
almost got leveled by a Mexican journeyman. I mean, his record wasn't great. So, and he was almost out on his feet. I mean, to his credit, he toughed it out, got through and got the knockout. But, if that fight happened in Australia, it would have got stopped. Yeah. So he was very lucky that fight didn't get stopped in that. I mean, you think the ref was within a hair's breadth of pulling it up. So, yeah, very lucky.
And then he would have been forced back down in weight. They would have been like, you know what, 135 is too, big for you. Because what I'm looking now is as the face-off and stare-down between the fighters is happening on the screen. Like he looks like overall the bigger fighter. He may have the bigger frame, but, inside the ring, Liam Paro, I'm predicting he's going to be much stronger up in there.
Well, yeah, he's the more
southpaw fighter too.
He's the more experienced. Established is the word I was looking for. Established 140 pounder, where Brock's only had one fight at 135 and no fights at 140. So, yeah, I mean, you think it would be well fought. I wouldn't say an easy win, but it's going to be a win for Paro. But I mean, it's like I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a good fight. But I'm not a huge fan of these two blokes fighting each other at this stage.
All right, so the fight's going to be basically Eddie Hearn's first significant card for the Zone Australia as he's trying to plant his flag over there for the Zone. The Zone. When did they launch over there? Has it been 2 years already?
No, I don't believe it's been that long. Maybe a year and a half.
Okay, gotcha.
It hasn't been. It'd be within 2 years, easy.
So basically, he's been trying to launch over there for some time. It's a shame that he wasn't able to, for him, that he wasn't able to get his hands on Haney Kambosos to be able to launch it on the Zone's platform. But hey, it is what it is. Looking at the 140-pound division, I just covered last night a card featuring 140-pound contender Arnold Barboza, who got a 10-round unanimous decision over Arnold Barboza's ranked number 8 by the WBO. And the guy he fought, Danielito Zarella, is ranked number 10. So before, Barboza used to be ranked number 2, and he addressed it last night on the broadcast, number 2 by the WBO, but then Teofimo came up. So as it stands right now, where Liam Paro is ranked number 1, and it's clear that he's on the WBO path. He's ranked number 1, former champion Jose Ramirez number 2. Jack Catterall, number 3. Jose Ramirez was a unified champion, by the way. Jack Catterall, number 3. Teofimo Lopez, number 4. Jose Cepeda, number 5. Ricketts Prograis, number 6. Sandor Martin, number 7. And Barboza, number 8. Now, let me run it down to you really quickly on what's happening. Josh Taylor, who currently now is holding on to his IBF and WBO titles. The WBC and the WBA has officially been vacated. Alberto Puello is going to be taking on Bakhtir Akhmedov, and I did a whole video on this on the channel if you want to go check it out. He's going to be taking on Puello versus Akhmedov. They're going to be fighting on the undercard of Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa, which is going to be taking place on August 13th. Jose Cepeda and Jose Ramirez have been ordered to fight for that vacant WBC. Currently, there is no IBF mandatory right now, but it's supposed to be Subriel Matias taking on Jeremias Ponce. We're just waiting to see if Josh Taylor's going to vacate that belt, because it's looking like right now he may have some travel issues. And Liam Paro and Brock Jarvis, this is not a final eliminator, but I'm guessing, Liam Paro may have to fight the winner of Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. Teofimo Lopez returns on also on August the 13th or the 20th. I forgot, but it's down below in the description box. Against a Pedro.
I'm pretty sure that's the 20th, because I saw that sometime today. I thought it was the 20th.
Gotcha. All right, well, there you go. So Lopez and Arnold, if Lopez beats Compa on August the 20th, then it's very likely he'll have to fight Arnold Barboza, but knowing Top Rank in their cahoots with the WBO, they're going to try to sneak that in as a WBO eliminator. But in reality, the winner of that fight should fight the winner of Liam Paro and Brock Jarvis. That's actually what should happen. But you know how boxing can get. So basically, the winner of if it's Liam Paro, which I'm predicting it will be, he should be in line to get, let's say, September. He should be in line to get a title shot by this time next year. Does that timeline make a little bit of sense to you? Because he's going to have to, because if we're going to have to see if this is going to be approved as a final eliminator. And right now, Brock Jarvis is not ranked at 140 pounds anywhere. So I'm guessing that's probably what Eddie Hearn is trying to work on behind the scenes, is to make this some type of eliminator.
Yeah. It might be one of those situations where it's an eliminator if Liam wins, if Brock wins it.
Exactly, it won't be an eliminator. And that's probably
it's like we're similar with the Tim Tszyu Bowen Morgan fight. Eliminator for Tim if he won. If Bowen won, nothing would happen.
There you go.
So,
all right, that makes sense. So closing thoughts on this fight before we move on. Oh, well, let's talk about it now. From what you've heard, who's supposed to be on the undercard, and is this the undercard that's supposed to feature Dempsey McKean?
I believe it's supposed to feature, because I said in the press conference, it's supposed to feature Scott Nicholson, Dempsey McKean, and one other person whose name was. I mean, who's the Australians on Eddie's books? Paro, McKean, Scott Nicholson, Ebony, and there's one other person who I cannot remember.
I cannot right now anyway either.
I can't remember the top of it. But yeah, all those.
Okay, so
Dempsey, Sky, and Paro. Everyone bar Ebony. Ebony's doing something else.
So since we're going to be talking about Dempsey McKean, I guess it's safe to talk about Lucas Brown twice. We got to talk about him later on against Derek Chisora. But it's looking unlikely that we're going to see Dempsey McKean versus Lucas Brown on this card, correct?
Very unlikely. Very unlikely. It's a possibility. But it is a fight that people would want, but it's a fight that should have happened 2 years ago.
And it's a fight that can be its own card,
and it was supposed to happen well, yeah, pretty much. It could be its own card. I mean, if Eddie throws all these, you can't throw out an A+ card, your first card, because then you got nothing left. So, I wouldn't put it on the card. That's just me personally. But Dempsey does have rankings with the IBF and WBO. Lucas doesn't. He's ranked number 10 of the WBA as we speak. He was supposed to have a ranking with the IBF after he beat Junior Farr, but he's not ranked in the top 15. And Dempsey does have that WBO belt. I can't remember which one he's got. He probably have the Oriental and or the International both.
Yeah, because he's ranked number 9 by the WBO currently.
Number 9. Yeah, number 9. So it would be a good fight. Obviously, one punch could change the whole game. But I think that there's other options out there for Lucas at the moment. So, and it's a matter of if he actually wants to take the fight. So, well, if they both want to take the fight. So,
yeah. So
at this stage,
I'm guessing that McKean is going to be in pretty much a showcase fight, pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, there are other options. I mean, as I said to you before we started recording, I'd love him to fight Justice Herney. That would be a bloody good fight.
But we know that's not going to be on this card, though. You know, especially at this late of a notice.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
All right. Well, whenever they have an official fight announcement, because nothing's official yet. Excuse me. When they had this press conference, they did a press conference with no date and no secured undercard. So basically, this was kind of a rush job, you know, for Eddie Hearn. But they did get the fight announced. So we should be hearing something soon, as Matchroom has announced on their social media platforms less than 15 hours or so ago.